Welcome back. Thank you for staying with the Hot 790 News. Gozele MP Leonard Spider-Montoot has responded to complaints made by concerned citizens over the closure of a small playground along the Pigeon Point beach. Montoot says the land is rightfully Crown lands and whatever decisions taken by the government were done through the proper channels. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
Gozele MP Leonard Spider-Montoot has shut down cries of anger and concern by locals over the closure of a small playground along the Pigeon Point beach. For a few years, the park, which was set up by Gozele resident Simon Simple Phillip, was the only recreational children's play area in the town, equipped with playhouses and slides. In recent weeks, however, a decision to use the area for another construction, this time by the government of St. Lucia, has sparked outrage, with concerned citizens saying that the children of the area will now be deprived of a safe play zone. Responding to the concerns, Montoot said the fuss is unwarranted. As for the children, the masses, he said, need not worry about the play areas for them.
Actually, this is an area that is Crown property that has been earmarked for a while now for the establishment of a park, and I indicated in my last budget address that I intend to develop further the park that is to the north between Sandals and the National Park, and as well that park that is there, and of course we'll certainly take into consideration facilities for children as well when you do so.
The MP said the location was not in use legitimately in the first place.
If you ask me, I don't know that government has any involvement in that play area. I do not know that it was sanctioned. I do not know that it had any approval, and I will not take responsibility for anything that is not properly done, and so I do not want to endorse the recognition of any such facility. I want to know that if we have a facility for children, that is a safe and appropriate area for children.
In October last year, the playground received minimal damage in a fire which was set to a wooden playhouse structure. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
In other news, despite reports of a hopeful cash injection by Virgin boss Richard Branson, it seems that Liat is still high and dry. Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, has said that nobody contacted him about it, claiming no such offer has been received. Previously, it had been reported that Branson was ready to invest as much as $7 million in the airline. In fact, the Chief of Staff in the Antigua and Barbuda government, Lionel Hurst, had gone so far as to say that Branson planned to wet lease several aircrafts and to start flying from Fort Lauderdale as part of his expansion plans for the airline. As reported by CH Aviation, Dr. Gonzalez told his local radio station that no such bid had been received, saying, quote, "As the chairman of the shareholders, I have not been made aware of that. Nobody has contacted me about it. Whether Branson said so in an offhand way or in a serious manner, I don't know. I don't usually jump like that when rich people make a suggestion until I see something really meaningful," end quote. The cross lines of communication are nothing new for Liat. The airline is jointly owned between Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, along with Dominica, with the four governments owning 94.7% of the shares. The remaining shares, which is 5.3%, is owned by other Caribbean governments as well as private shareholders and employees. With so many fingers in the shareholder pie, it's hardly surprising that things are not always straightforward for the carrier. New climate resilience classrooms are being built up as the new standard for education facilities on island. At the handing over ceremony of the newly reconstructed blocks B and C at the Schwizel Secondary School, the feature address was given by Minister for Economic Development Guy Joseph, who touched on key issues plaguing the advancement of the infrastructure of schools across the island. Solange Alfred tells us more.
The government of St. Lucia, through the Department of Economic Development, handed over the newly reconstructed blocks of the Schwizel Secondary School to the Department of Education on May 13th. The feature address at the ceremony was conducted by Minister for Economic Development Guy Joseph. He said the long overdue construction speaks to the island's nature of time wasting, However, he noted a proactive approach was taken with the construction of Block B and C to alter the facility into an institution resilient to the effects of climate change.
Now, for some reason, things take too long to happen in St. Lucia. This project, I remember there was a collapse of a school in Haiti some time ago. And we had that discussion. Are we going to wait until something major happens in St. Lucia when these blocks had been deemed unfit for occupation by students? Now, I will tell you, some people focus a lot on the talk, others focus on the work.
Joseph went on to praise the local consultants and contractors who were integral in the completion of the project. He also challenged local companies to become more competitive to compete on a global level.
The perception that our people do not have the capacity to deliver must be something of the past. Because we have seen in FDL being a leading consultant in this region, competing against international firms and getting awards at the regional level. Yet still, when these same local persons are given jobs in St. Lucia, we are criticized for it. We need to build the local capacity of our contractors, not just the consultants. Because I want to see the day when our local contractors, whether they be from Choiseul School or whether they be from any other school in St. Lucia, can compete in Trinidad, Jamaica, and Barbados and have the equal opportunity and access to the jobs that are available regionally.
The minister glorified the reconstruction to Block B and C of the Choiseul Secondary School, referring to the institution as setting the standard for what a model school should encompass.
I am highlighting this so that we understand. When we say this is the model of what the school should be in 2020, though we are delivering in 2019, that when a school is going to be built in my constituency or in Labrie or in any other constituency, we are setting a new standard for what educational institutions should be in St. Lucia.
The reconstruction made availability for accommodations for disabled persons, efficiency in water usage and harvesting, and climate-resilient structures to counteract the effects of earthquakes and hurricanes. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The World Health Organization, WHO, has launched its first ever guidelines on how people can help avoid getting dementia. It looked at the evidence of what works and what doesn't for lowering risk. Things to avoid include smoking and drinking too much alcohol. While eating a healthy diet is beneficial, popping vitamin pills makes no difference to dementia risk. There is no good evidence that brain training works, but some studies suggest it may be worthwhile. Dementia affects around 50 million people around the world and is becoming more common. While there is no treatment that can cure it, there are things people can do to lower their risk of the disease or slow its onset. Old age is the strongest risk factor, but it is not a natural or inevitable consequence of aging. Genetics also play a role, but many risk factors are modifiable. Experts have previously suggested lifestyle changes could prevent around a third of dementia cases. So here's what the guidelines recommend. Exercise. Stop smoking. Eat well. Don't bother with vitamin pills. Avoid heavy alcohol use. Do some brain training. Be social. Keep a healthy weight. Beware of high blood pressure. Get treated if you have diabetes. And beware of high cholesterol. You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. There's more news coming up after the break.